Hello, this is Encounters with Life. I'm Sean Abigail, your host. Well, I've said that I want to have us deal with Trump in a very reasonable, responsible way with measured steps. But we also have to consider the possibility that Trump is going to continue his extreme pushes, that maybe his statements about Canada becoming the 51st state is not just him musing, but that he's warming up to the idea. And so Canada needs to think about what extreme actions we can take to protect ourselves from a dominant United States. And I call these the nuclear options. Now, it's all peaceful, but these are the nuclear options in dealing with Donald Trump and his tariffs and his threats. Now, stick around to the end, and the last option that I present is pretty amusing. I think you'll agree. Also, please like, subscribe, share, and press that notify button. It makes all the difference to me as I try to grow this channel and present unbiased, reasonable options to you. So, first of all, move military procurement to European and Korean suppliers. Now, the Europeans are pretty much stressed at the moment trying to produce domestically, but Korea has considerable ability to produce military equipment, top-notch military equipment, and why not start placing large orders with them? Now, we would exclude Americans from these negotiations. What we would do is we would simply pass the kind of emergency laws that Trump is using to ignore the USMCA treaty, and we would just pass our own, and only foreign, non-American suppliers could apply for these contracts. Now, here's another option, another nuclear option. Cancel the F-35 contract. That would be huge. And instead, purchase European equipment, either the Griffin or the Eurofighter, or even the Rafale. That would send a huge message to the United States that we are no longer interested in playing their games. Another option is to withdraw from NORAD. Now, that's going to be pretty tricky because it is a continental defense treaty, and honestly, I'm not sure that we can withdraw from it and try to defend the North ourselves. But if we start slow rolling all sorts of discussions about NORAD while Donald Trump is being unreasonable, maybe he'll get the message. We could cancel all military exchanges, all joint training, and so on. Again, trying to get the message across to the Americans that Donald Trump and his bombastic nonsense has consequences. He can't just go shooting his mouth off all the time without it having consequences. Now, here is a key consequence, a key nuclear option, and that is to withdraw from the Five Eyes intelligence sharing arrangement. Again, this is not without its costs to Canada, but the Five Eyes is the world's premier intelligence sharing network. It is the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. We share just about everything. But maybe we should withdraw from that relationship, or at least start slow rolling the sharing of information. Again, I don't like any of this, but if Donald Trump wants to be sudden and brutal and callous in his dealings with us, then we need to have some options available for dealing with him. Here's another option, and again, this is an option I don't like, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. We should open negotiations with the European Union about becoming an EU country. Now, that might be a wake-up call for the Americans. The Americans might say, well, you can't. We won't let you. What are you going to do, invade us? Well, I guess you could invade us, but chances of them invading us over this is pretty small. Now, why don't I like this option? And that is, well, the EU is to national sovereignty what the Borg is to Starfleet. And I'm a big believer in national sovereignty. I'm a big believer that countries get to make their own choices. But here's another one. Here's something that's a possibility, a nuclear option but less so than joining the EU, and that is start negotiations with the United Kingdom to become a single nation. Huge. I mean, I know this is generational, but it's a possibility, and it's one that we should be open to. Given the choice between being gobbled up by a dominant United States that's being a bully, and joining with the United Kingdom as a single country, I know which one I would choose, and that is to be with the United Kingdom. Here's another option. Not quite as nuclear, but still I think it would send a message, and that is institute a huge tariff on Tesla cars. And, again, we might need emergency laws to allow us to do this, but the nature of these emergency laws would be to get the message across to Donald Trump that if he wants to, quote, emergency laws to not keep America's word with regards to the USMCA treaty, our free trade treaty, the one that he negotiated, the one that he said this is the best deal ever, and now he's saying, oh, look how terrible it is the way Canada is treating us. If he wants to use emergency laws in that way, we should also use emergency laws. And hey, why not aim at Tesla? Okay, here's another one. Negotiate a separate free trade treaty with Mexico. Of course, it's hard to get goods across the United States if they're not part of the open treaty. But again, this is sending messages, and economically it could be good for us. All right, those are most of my nuclear options. I said I would save one last one for the end that's, I think, is pretty amusing, and that is we should enter into negotiations with Denmark to buy Greenland. Donald Trump would go apoplectic. I mean, he would pop a vein, but I think it would be a very amusing option. And quite frankly, Canada is a northern nation. If the possession of Greenland is to change, I think the people of Greenland would do a lot better with Canada, a northern nation, than they're doing with Denmark, or a lot better than they would do with the United States. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the nuclear options. Again, I want peaceful options, but these are the nuclear options for dealing with Donald Trump and his complete chaos and craziness. I'm Sean Abigail. That's Encounters with Life. Thank you.